would tie her up and then put porno mags all around her. We go to the country fair and the timer takes. Or does one of these cops slip into the house and unplug it? I mean, literally gone for like, left like Friday afternoon and back like Sunday afternoon, and everything's burned up except for like one plant, right? And this one plant is actually like almost like two plants because it just comes out from the bottom, right? And so now, yet another Guda, crazy idea. Now I'm gonna bud for, what was it? It was like, no, I was like gonna see how long I could actually bud or whatever. And I think I went like 10 weeks or something, 14 weeks. And I mean, it just kept popping off things. These things were so effing big by the time we took them down. But I mean, I could have grown literally a whole nother thing in the time, So that was the second one. We must have done a third one, and it must have gone good. And that was the money that we used to move out to Malala. In that time, there was a friend of mine, B, and she had a friend, R. B and R. And R had a car. And they were our friend girls, they being Stogs. And really they were his kind of more friends. And, but they kind of had a falling out with him. But initially, like the four of us, we would, and I had a crush on both of them. I mean, I was just like, and they were like Valley girls, and they were like, I don't remember what they were like in high school, honestly, but they were like these girls that like, kind of like, were they lesbians? Were they not lesbians? They spent all their time together, and they were like, like inseparable. We would basically, I think we just like drink and do drugs with them and cruise, and it was any time we got to hang out with them was like, woohoo, but getting a hold of people and finding them and all that back then, it was a whole thing, people had to have phone numbers, and it's like, you had to have a place to have a phone number, and so mostly it was your parents. So you like try, and like the parents of like kids that were party animals weren't notoriously helpful with passing on their party animal friends' information. So pagers were huge. I had a pager from a very, like 16, I think I got my first pager. We would hang out with this couple party and stuff. And over the years, like, then we started hanging out with Jay, and like more like a couples thing. So they got boyfriends, R and B, or B and R got boyfriends. B's boyfriend, he ended up kind of being like kind of a friend of mine for a while. He started this magazine. So when I first met him, he was all about a magazine. This guy, I'm pretty sure he got in some serious ass trouble because he was running this strip club forever that got shut down. They don't even let that be a strip club anymore because it went so far. And what it was so far was with underage girls. So this guy, and Oregon's already got 18-year-old naked girls stripping already. That's just standard operating procedure. He had him in there underage, and apparently like freaking crazy underage too. like underage for years before they became old enough. So anyway, this guy was all about this magazine when I first met him, and it was called Spam Magazine. And this is before email. So, and what it stood for was Seattle, Portland Area Music Magazine. So it had 2 M's. And this guy was a Ren and Stimpy fan to an extreme level. He got Ren and Stimpy tattoos on him. That's how much of a Ren and Stimpy fan he was. That was the first Ren and Stimpy. Like the first Ren and Stimpy, like the second Ren and Stimpy, like that was so gay. Like what the f? The first was just retard funny. You know, like, anyway. I guess you gotta cater to your audience, but I'll never watch that shit, man. Anyway, so this was all about music, and the music of the time was grunge. Grunge had really kind of been around for that point for like coming up on a couple years. So like the newest stuff was like White Zombie, and I actually introduced him to White Zombie. This is the guy that had the music magazine, and I'm like, hey, listen to this. And White Zombie was just like, I could tell, and I have so many White Zombie stories. When this guy, he gets we have this nightclub in Portland, not anymore, but this thing had been around forever, and different incarnations trying to figure it out. And it was just a really old 2-story building. It was actually like a 4-story building, but the top 2 stories had long been condemned, which is kind of common in Portland nightclubs. Like Portland nightclubs are in these old buildings that have more stories up above them that are condemned. And then the only part where there's, you know, and you literally can't even get to, like the staircases have been completely removed, sealed up, like, so you literally can't even get into these upper floors in any sort of traditional way. So this club though had 2 floors in like a 5-story building or something. And he got a deal with the club to take over the booking of the upstairs, and it was called the Bone. Oh, and we changed the name to the New Bone. The Bone, the New Bone. And the old Bone, I mean, it had only been around for not that long. So what that entailed, though, was basically me spending $1,000 of my own money on like wood. So what I did was I built out a elevated seating area, encased it with fence, just your standard fencing, you know, and then I built a DJ booth, and you know, just overall we just kind of spruced up the place and just arranged it and fixed it up a little, right? All on my coin, but I had this money from growing weed that I was like, you know, investing, getting over for, really. I end up getting hired by the nightclub as the security. So the nightclub's paying me to do security on the New Bone, and then I'm supposed to be getting a cut of this, and then the bands are supposed to be getting a cut, and it's like, what a joke, you know, like there's never any money for anybody. I don't really ever give it. I want my investment back. I never got it back. It ended up dissolving to just some real hateful shit with that guy. At one point, I was on a full rampage, like, not like I'm running around, a full rampage could mean a lot of different things. I wasn't robbing people, I wasn't raping people, I wasn't killing, you know. Basically, a rampage was basically like I just was kind of a ballsy weed dealer that carried guns and, you know, and had other drug parties, did other drugs. I around and sold a little bit of other, but mainly it was just all weed. I probably partied on other more than I ever sold other. But like, you can literally just give somebody some other, like, here, we're partying, have some, not even sell it to them, and now you're guilty of distribution. So yeah, there's that. So this couple, they'd hang out over our house and listen to music and party, and I was a weed dealer. Jay was, initially she had a job, like she lost her job at the court clerk, was like some messed up temporary thing. So this New Bone Club, the most notable things that happened in there really were fights. Like, as a security guy, I guess that makes sense that I would remember all the fights, because there was some crazy shit. And I had this brilliant idea back then that I could just solve fights with a ginormous can of bear mace. Yeah, that's not the greatest thing to frickin' let off in a nightclub. Little bursts directly in somebody's face, not horrible, but still, I mean, literally not a good idea. But there was this like whole big crowd of dudes, and they were just all freaking going for it, and I just started zapping them. Got it all broke up. The club's basically done for the night, getting everybody out of there, and these dudes were trying to set me up to get me outside to try to jump me. Freaking idiots. They came from some like rural Portland area. Unfortunately, the weed thing was such a famine feast-ish type scenario that was so long in between that really I was just a weed slinger that had a little crop on the side. So right about that time in Oregon, there was a massive federal invasion, drug war invasion, to go after grow houses. And they busted 180 grow houses in 6 months. And it was just ridiculous. Weed prices went through the roof. It got to be so crazy that ounces were going for like $420, $460 for 1 ounce. Now sure, it was really, really good stuff, but I mean, just crippling. That's how Canada got in the mix. Julie and I's relationship when we first moved in together was pretty good. Like, we got along really good and everything, but the situation with the other girlfriend, that, I think, who would have guessed having 2 girlfriends would piss one of them off, and I just end up being totally screwed. Now, I was something else back then. You know, I had super long and thick hair that went down to almost my ass. I've got a picture of it from back in the day. Randomly, pictures were like a no-no. But I have like a couple pictures of myself from back around that time. I like go into strip clubs and hook up all the strippers and some of their clients with weed. But back then I was like, you know, kind of I was a baller. I guess there's a term for it. You know, and I had a lot of respect from people. Some because they feared me, some because I took care of them, some because I, you know, had a reputation for taking care of business. There was a jealousy there, especially when Jay started dancing. And like, we'd go out to freaking strip clubs like every Sunday. We had this like group of friends that we go out and eat sushi with, and then ice cream, and then strip clubs. You know, the first thing with the whole having another girlfriend and her finding out about that, and then like the whole herpes thing, like, because I like confronted her about that before I actually realized that R got it from the dude that she banged in Mexico. Not me. But unfortunately, I said something to Jay, and you know, one thing I've learned in life is like, there can be things said that just never forgiven. They're just actions, you know, and that builds up, you know. You have one little thing here, one little thing there, and it just builds up and builds up until finally you got more in the relationship than you got any kind of positiveness. So that's what happened to our relationship. And you know, like the would be like, we'd be drinking at a strip club and I'd be tipping a stripper. Oh, you want to? Well, yeah, duh. And she really didn't like it when I started trying to get into bondage with her, and would tie her up and then put porno mags all around her. Yeah, and then she actually ended up hooking up with a guy, and that's so funny, like, totally over between us. It's all, but oh, she has a boyfriend now. Oh wait, now I want to keep going. Oh no, yeah, it's like such a thing. I need to learn to let go at a certain point. Well, I think I did. Yeah, because the last several relationships I've had, they've just ended, no problems. But a couple lingered.